It's the dead of night in a remote Sardinian village, where the rugged hills swallow the moonlight. A family huddles in grief around a bed where their loved one lies, racked by agony that no healer can ease. The air is thick with whispers of despair. Then, a soft knock echoes at the door. She has arrived, a shadowy figure cloaked in black, her face veiled, carrying a wooden mallet carved from ancient yew. No words are spoken. The family steps aside, knowing what must come. In moments, the suffering ends with a single, merciful strike. This is no murderer, but a bearer of peace. This is La Accabadora, the woman who finishes what fate has begun. But was she a myth born of desperation or a real guardian of the dying? Stay with me, dear listeners, as we unravel the chilling truth. Welcome to Eerie Tales with Cosette, the channel where we journey beyond the veil of the ordinary into the shadowy realms of folklore and legends from around the world. I'm your host, Cosette, and now that the pumpkins have been packed away and Halloween's ghosts have faded, we're diving into the timeless mysteries that linger in every culture's heart. From ancient rituals to whispered village secrets, these tales remind us that the line between life and death is as thin as a shroud. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You won't want to miss the chills ahead. Today, in our 13th episode, we turn our gaze to the sun-baked Isles of Sardinia, where mercy wears a dark veil. Join me as we explore the legend of La Accabadora, the Lady of the Good Death. Let us begin at the roots. Sardinia, that rugged jewel in the Mediterranean Sea, has long been a land steeped in isolation and ancient traditions. Closer to my own Maltese homeland than to mainland Italy in spirit, if not always in miles, its people have forged a culture where the old ways endure. For centuries, in the remote villages of the island's interior, places like Orgosolo or Foni, where sheep outnumber souls and the Mistral wind carries secrets, death was not always a solitary affair. In times when medicine was scarce, and the nearest doctor might be days away across treacherous terrain, families faced a harrowing choice when a loved one suffered in terminal agony. Enter La Accabadora, or as she's known in the Sardinian tongue, Sa Femina Accabadora. The name itself derives from the Spanish verb acabar, meaning to finish or to end, a linguistic echo of Sardinia's complex history under various rulers. She was no spectral phantom from fairy tales but a flesh-and-blood woman, often middle-aged or elderly, chosen by her community for her strength, discretion, and compassion. Dressed always in black, with a shawl draped over her head to conceal her identity, she embodied the grim necessity of euthanasia in a pre-modern world. Historical records trace mentions of the Accabadora back to the 17th century, though her origins likely stretch further into antiquity, perhaps intertwined with pagan rituals of the Nuragic civilization that once dominated the island. Some scholars suggest links to ancient Mediterranean death cults, where female figures guided souls to the afterlife. But in practice, her role was starkly pragmatic. When a person, be it an elder ravaged by illness, a child deformed by birth defects, or a farmer broken by accident, lingered in unbearable pain, the family would summon her. This was not murder, it was mercy, sanctioned by unwritten laws of the community. In Sardinian culture, prolonging suffering was seen as cruel, an affront to dignity. The Accabadora provided what they called a bon mort, a good death. Picture the ritual, as described in folklore and rare survivor accounts. It always unfolded under cover of darkness, to preserve secrecy and avoid the church's wrath, for while the Catholic faith dominated Sardinia, this practice skirted the edges of heresy. The family would prepare the room, candles flickering, holy water sprinkled, perhaps a crucifix turned away. No payment was ever exchanged, her service was a communal duty, though gifts of food or cloth might follow in gratitude. She would enter silently, her footsteps muffled on the earthen floor. The relatives would withdraw to another room, leaving her alone with the afflicted. Her methods varied, each chosen for swiftness and minimal pain. The most infamous was the mazzolu, a heavy wooden mallet, often crafted from yew or olive wood, symbolizing the island's hardy trees. With a precise blow to the forehead or temple, she would end the torment in an instant, the strike echoing like a final heartbeat. Other times, she employed suffocation, placing a pillow over the face or using a yoke-like device to compress the throat, drawing from agricultural tools familiar to rural life. In some tales, she whispered prayers or incantations, blending Christian blessings with older, pagan chants to ease the soul's passage. But was this mere legend or grim reality? Evidence suggests the latter. Anthropologists and historians, like those who've studied Sardinian oral traditions, point to artifacts, preserved mallets in museums, such as the one in Lourdes, etched with symbols of death. Eyewitness accounts from the early 20th century describe the last known Accabadoras, with practices persisting until the 1950s. One infamous case involves Bonaria Mura, accused in 1929 of euthanizing a patient, though she was acquitted for lack of proof. Another, from 1952, saw a woman in Oristano investigated for similar acts. These were not isolated. In a land where life expectancy was low and poverty rife, the Accabadora filled a void that modern hospice care now occupies. Yet, her figure evokes both reverence and dread. In folklore, she's portrayed as an angel of death, compassionate, almost maternal, guiding the soul like a midwife in reverse. Stories tell of her appearing unbidden, drawn by the cries of the dying, or vanishing into the night like mist. But darker tales whisper of abuse, rival families using her to settle scores, or women coerced into the role, forever marked by isolation. No man could be an Accabadora. It was a feminine domain, tied to women's traditional roles as carers and mourners. As Sardinia modernized, with roads, hospitals, and laws against euthanasia, the Accabadora faded into myth. Today, she's remembered in literature, like Michela Morgia's novel Accabadora, which weaves her into a poignant tale of adoption and fate. Films and documentaries explore her legacy, questioning ethics in a world where assisted dying remains controversial. In my Maltese perspective, she echoes our own island folklore, tales of healers and curse lifters, reminding us that across the Mediterranean, death is not an enemy but a companion to be met with grace. What do you think, listeners? Was La Accabadora a heroine of mercy or a harbinger of horror? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you encountered similar legends in your culture? Thank you for joining me on this journey into the shadows of Sardinia. If this tale sent shivers down your spine, like and share it with fellow seekers of the strange. Until next time, remember, the world's legends are waiting to be unearthed. This has been Eerie Tales with Cosette, sweet dreams, or perhaps, none at all.